I'm Queenie, and my organisation is Golden Sparkle, and it was my first time in Scotland, which I've always wanted to go to Scotland, and this was a great opportunity to go and see that part of the UK. I was blown away by the conference. I really didn't know what to expect. I knew I've been to conferences before, and but I've never been to a conference like this before, and I've never really heard of a conference like this before. I couldn't believe it's been running for over 10 years, and I'm so happy that I chose the route of social enterprise, because I have this moral standing of helping and supporting and things, but I didn't realize there were so many other people that was in that kind of frame of mind around the world. And to see that this conference was attended by at least 45 countries, and it was like once you open your mouth and you start talking to someone, because there was so much networking, so many workshops, it was, you wanted to choose which workshop to go to, so you had to close your eyes in the end and just put the pin on the there was so much going on, so many speakers from big corporate companies explaining their social impact and how they're trying to influence other large companies that they might be doing work with, and getting them to look at how they're running their business and their staff and all these different type of things. As Chris touched on, the living wage, it makes a difference to staff, your morale and all these things. But some of the points I want to touch on is meeting so many different people from different countries. And as soon as you started talking, everyone understood what you're talking about, the businesses, the struggles that people went through. And three different out of so many stood out for me. And one of them was an Ethiopian man who, to cut a long story short, he went to his community and he was trying to emphasize to the community that we need an ambulance service of some kind. And he said, I'm the one that's going to pioneer it and do this and do that. And everyone was saying, look, stick to your day job. You're doing all right. So you got a family, you got a wife that's expecting, and so he couldn't sleep. He just wanted to support the community, because in Ethiopia, as you know, with lack of all kind of different infrastructure in place, people were being transported to hospital in their own vehicles or whatever, and losing blood or needing some kind of, how our ambulance service runs. You're getting assistance on the way to hospital. So that mortality rate and things like that is a big problem. So really, what he did in the end, he started up a small training school, because his background was medical, and the man sacrificed his own home. He said to his wife one day, I'm going to have to sell the house to really get this going, because it's really needed, and there was some agreement there. They never broke up, and he went, sold the house, and I think he said he went to Dubai and brought 3 first ambulances and some motorbikes, and started off the service. He'd already linked with the government and certain routes to make sure that it was part of the structure. And now is it about 11 ambulances he's got now, and yeah, and he's built a school of trainees, ambulance drivers and other paramedics and things. And this is the first time that female in the country has been having the opportunity to have this type of training, and also to drive an ambulance. A woman has never drove ambulance or anything to do with the medical service, and this is the barriers and everything is broken down. So we were so overwhelmed, the sacrifice, everything. And I've heard a lot of stories with social enterprises, the sacrifice and the drive and the willingness to do without, or to whatever it takes to build what your dream is, to help the community in some way. So that's one of the lovely stories. Then there was another lady from India. India some years ago had a tsunami, and she was a big fashion designer, working with the community, supporting a lot of women in the community through jobs. And then the tsunami came and wiped out everything. And what she did, she was looking, and even just before that, she was looking at her moral standing in the community and how she could help and support the ordinary person. And the same thing again. This was a tragedy that really kind of gave her that push. So she went into the community, supported women, and they actually produced some products that was able to sell all over the world, to bring in some finance to help develop the communities and things like that. And absolutely amazing, you know. And then again in Ethiopia, another female, she was looking at, because there are imbalances with male and female in different parts of the world. And in Ethiopia again, this lovely lady, I'm not brilliant on names, but what she did, she went into the schools and started getting young people to think about entrepreneurness and explaining a lot about what, you know, the world is about and things. And there's no TV program that relates to girls in that way. So she miraculously put together some, a kind of a cartoon type of program. They wouldn't let her put it on the media. They wouldn't let her even come there. They didn't want to know. They didn't get, what do you want? Kind of thing. And she went back into the schools and pushed them. And now the first program, which is a series of this type of cartoon for girls, and it's to build self-esteem, to build the potential of where you can go in life and what you can achieve. Don't let nothing put you down and all that. And those kind of things just build a strength in you as an individual. I'm not going to tell you my ups and downs. That's for another time. But I've been on a similar journey to achieve where I'm at now. But from the conference, what I've realised is that we're part of a big, big network. And there's so much support and help out there. The different workshops, at least 5, 6 presenters in each workshop. So it's like, how do I keep up writing, taking photos, you know, getting cards, getting leaflets? Oh my gosh, I've got bags of them, which I haven't yet, you know. I'm getting to the stage where I have to send some courtesy replies or introductories and all kind of things. But let me just give you an example of some of the support that's out there. You can register with this network as a social entrepreneur, So that means straight away that you're linked with 45 different countries in some way. You can put your profile there, and then all the individual ones support in different ways. For example, there was a lovely young woman who was from an affluent background, and she's been able to get her social entrepreneur business is she's gone to lawyers, big multi-billionaire people, that she's been able to enlist into her company to support social entrepreneurs. So you'd register in somewhere and you're given advice of, you know, all kind of corporates, all kind of different advice that they're willing to pass on this information to, you know, new starters and those who are established, because they love the idea that we've got this social idea and this impact. And then the other thing I didn't know so much about was this 17 tier. Every company has to be at least looking at one of the moral aspects of social impact, or more than one. And I need to look into it some more. But that also measures your company's level of morality, and these are things that are being pushed to most companies. And then last of all, is our Sarah Crawley. I didn't know I was going with a big woman like that. You know, she did a couple of workshops, and I was blown away. And then when I was talking to some networking different people, they said, let me put you in touch with someone. And then they said, her name is Sarah Crawley. I said, that's part of our team. She's part of our team, but you know, kind of thing. Well, you're well in there then, you know. And you know, sometimes you're sitting next to someone, or you're around, you know, your own here in Birmingham, and you don't realise what's really right in front of you. So that also opened my eyes to researching a bit more about who's in our stables, in our area of, you know, entrepreneurs, and we need to network more and take up the advantages that's there. So that's it, really.
Thank you, Queenie.
There's lots more.